Hello all YouTubers, I'm the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning back into this weather presentation for May 17th, 2020. Before I get on with today's video, however, I would ask that you please do subscribe if you are not already. It really does help support my channel. And please also, and this applies to every single one of you, please watch the whole video. You'd be surprised how much it really does help me grow my channel. So please consider subscribing and watching the whole video. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. So yes guys, I'm on my way to 500 subscribers and I would love it if you guys would help me get there. So again, as I said earlier, just please don't forget to subscribe. Now, today we're going to be talking about the severe weather threat that is going to be moving across the Midwest. All right, and please don't forget to check out my latest that I just posted this video, this tropical storm Arthur discussion right there in the top right appearing now. All right, don't forget to check that out after this video. And a line of very strong storms from western Tennessee up through Illinois, all the way up to Chicago, and then more of a rain threat for parts like Wisconsin and wrapping around that north side of that system back into Minnesota. All right. What you're looking at here is some of the precipitable water, all right, and here's where you have your most precipitable water values, anywhere in that darker green region, all right, definitely some higher areas of precipitable water right in here, and this is where you're going to have your greatest flood threat. Mississippi Valley up to the parts of the Tennessee Valley, up through right up through Illinois and Indiana, especially the Indiana and Illinois border there. All right, but nonetheless, we still got a lot of rainfall that's coming down. All right, even outside of the area of greatest precipitable water values, all right, we still have some healthy lines of thunderstorms. And once you get north of that, it's more of a moderate to heavy rain threat. Once you get north of Chicago and the Green Bay, even if Detroit eventually could get possibly a strong storm as well. So, before I get into the explanations, we have to go over the actual categorical risks. For today, it is a slight risk for just south of Chicago, much of Illinois and the border of Indiana as well as extreme northwestern Kentucky. And that's, yes, those are the three states that will be potentially impacted. Well, what does a slight risk mean? All right, well, if you're in a marginal, which marginal does include a lot of you, as a matter of fact, marginal risk includes over 26 million people, all right, from Mississippi up to Illinois, back east towards Cleveland, and in a motion like this, all right, in that kind of shape, all right? And a marginal risk does mean some isolated severe storms are possible, okay, but their intensity and the duration is sort of limited, but you can still tell by the picture, we could definitely still see some hail possible that could potentially be destructive or damaging depending on how big the hail is, of course, in any isolated severe storm. How does the hail fall? All right, a slight risk, okay, which is about just under 7.7 million people. All right, Chicago, if Chicago was actually included in that yellow zone, all right, the population affected would be a lot higher because Chicago's a very populated city, but Chicago's in the marginal risk, but south side of town, you are in that slight risk of severe weather. Now we're getting to the scattered range, so obviously it goes isolated, scattered, numerous, widespread. Scattered means it is isolated, but it's a little bit more. It has more coverage than the first category over here, the dark green category. They are short-lived, however. Usually, okay. They're not very widespread, but there could be some intense thunderstorms here and there embedded within that severe threat. So again, there's your severe threat. Here's a mesoscale discussion. Excuse me. All right. Here's your cold front. All right. Here's your warm front. This is your warm sector. You got that huge amounts of moisture here. You got that cold air. It's going to be surging in behind it. You got that mix there. So increasing storm coverage is to be expected. There could even be a few strong storms that will produce some damaging winds, heavy rain, and even a possible tornado within this purple zone. All right, a tornado cannot be ruled out here. Definitely something we're going to have to watch. Here's another mesoscale discussion that was also issued. All right, you got your heavy rainfall threat in the afternoon, possibly some flash flooding through the state of Illinois. All right, from Chicago, all right, down through Peoria. Then you got your upper jet. You got your upper jet winds that are coming out of this direction. All right, you also got your moist low-level jet coming in like this. There is some upward vertical motion too, so those storms can really rise. All right, where you get that upward motion here, coupled with that jet, and that can actually really increase that threat of some damaging thunderstorms for the state of Illinois and through Indiana. And before that, Missouri, obviously, will be getting it before Illinois. Let's take a look at some models now. Take a look at some of the severe ingredients that are coming together here. All right, and there's your low. There's your upper level low, providing even more energy. So just east of Chicago there, definitely some showers and storms coming through. And tomorrow we're going to have to watch for a marginal threat of severe weather, not quite as great of a chance, but something we're going to have to watch for tomorrow. This is the GFS model, by the way. Take a look at the dew points right now. They are well into the 60s. Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, even down to Mississippi, dew points are near 70 degrees actually, so that is very impressive. Yes, so actually down to Mississippi, Alabama, it's actually 69 to 70. All right, so it's a very moist atmosphere. And actually, this is actually 18Z. All right, so this is actually 2 o'clock, and we do have some pockets of 70-degree dew points off to the south. But even to the north, we still got dew points well into the 60s, near 70 degrees. So very, very moist atmosphere. Once you get above 70, that's just completely like muggy and oppressive. But even before that, oh, sorry, too far out. Spoiler alert. But even before that, though, all right, there's still gonna be some very moist atmosphere. And take a look at this. Behind it, we got some comfortable air behind this severe thunderstorms, some 50s for dew points. So definitely going to be a welcome sight. Total precipitation here over the next 36 hours or so. Chicago could even get 3 inches of rainfall according to the GFS model here, even widespread half-inch plus. All right, and like I said, if you get a half-inch plus, also say you get a half-inch of rain, but it falls in a half an hour, that's an inch of rain an hour. So I'd say, even though much of the Ohio Valley in that half-inch range, and even widespread areas seeing an inch plus, if that comes in 30 minutes to an hour, all right, that's an inch or two per hour, depending on how much the rainfall, like, does it come in a short amount of time? All the factors do depend on that. Surface-based Cape, all right? Cape will be building. So right now, most of the Cape, though, is off to the south. And usually that's what happens. Some of the storms, sometimes we have a lower severe threat because some of the thunderstorms will be developing up here while all the Cape is all the way down to the south. All right, and it's not even the Cape that is there isn't that much. Most of it's actually over 2,000 joules per kilogram is down through Mississippi. All right, but still, we do have some Cape in there, and if you are in an area that's like you're like down here where you have the severe threat, but you also have some of the Cape there, and that can possibly be so Missouri, Illinois, down through Kentucky and Tennessee, definitely possible based on the Cape. Let's take a look at that wind shear because we know that we need the wind shear to have those tornado threats, and it looks like the wind shear will be coming through after the majority of the major threat of severe weather is over because storms are pretty much over here by this point already. All right, but we still will have that upper level low coming through, and that's why sometimes when the storms start to move away, like towards the end of the severe weather event, you can have a tornado threat because usually just after the severe weather is when that bulk shear really comes in, and if you happen to catch the bulk shear happens to catch where those thunderstorms are, you can heighten the tornado threat from Illinois over through Ohio. So again, definitely something we have to keep an eye on with the wind shear threat as well. All right, this is the supercell composite. Chance of those supercells, not very high chance for supercells. That doesn't mean we can't get a severe thunderstorm. Still a 2 out of a 50. All right, so probably around a 2% or a 1% chance, but still, all right, damaging thunderstorms will be possible. This is just a chance of supercells, which is a different story. It's a very strong thunderstorm. All right, but even though the chance for supercells isn't that high, that doesn't mean we don't have the chance to see significant thunderstorms. All right, let's take a look at those wind crossovers. All right, let's go to now, and along with the Cape as well. But take a look. You got your surface winds coming out of the south. I'd say south-southeast, while your 5,000 feet winds. So focus on the red and the blue. If you can, don't focus on the black because that's kind of not what we're looking at here. But if you look at the red, those winds are coming out of the south-southeast, while the 5,000 feet winds are coming out of the southwest. So there's your turning of the winds with height. And you can also have changing of the wind speeds with height. That's another kind of wind shear that we can have. But this kind of wind shear is one that we're actually going to have here, and that can produce those rotating thunderstorms and possibly some tornadoes. All right. So so here is that mesoscale discussion I showed you guys earlier, just to get a little fresh on that. Here is the day 1 extreme or excessive rainfall outlook. And a moderate is a very high. I mean, that's second from the top here. We're talking about Chicago through Peoria, Illinois. All right, very high chance of potential flash flooding. All right, and even outside of that, a slight risk is very bad as well. All right, we're talking about from New Orleans all the way up into Chicago. We're talking about the Great Lakes region, just near Green Bay, possibly in that slight risk area as well. Madison, Wisconsin, even just near Milwaukee, and even Indianapolis, definitely in that threat for excessive rainfall. Tomorrow, threat starts to kick off to the east a little bit. That moderate area, that super high threat of excessive rainfall, going to be Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky borders there. Even outside of that, though, a slight risk from the Smoky Mountains, Appalachian Mountains, all the way up through Detroit, all right, even through Ann Arbor. And for tomorrow, the threat is going to be more towards the Carolina coastline. Obviously, that is not tied to Arthur necessarily, because Arthur will be moving through. And again, do not forget to check out my latest Tropical Storm Arthur coverage. All right, but North Carolina, South Carolina, all right, through the day Tuesday, or actually through the day Wednesday, Tuesday into Wednesday, this will be where your highest threat for excessive rainfall. All right, so that was GFS. We just took a look at the Weather Prediction Center. That was just to kind of separate the GFS and the NAM model, just so you know which model is which. So now we are in the NAM model, all right? And a decently aggressive line, all right? Right where that low pressure center is, you got the winds kicking out behind it from the north and west. You got those southeast winds coming out ahead of it, and they just clash into one classic line just southeast of where that low pressure center is located. All right, so that line's going to continue to move through. Possibly weaken as we lose some of that sunlight into the morning, all right, in the overnight. However, we do have some, and high dew point values, a lot of moisture, well into the 60s, near 70, especially get farther south. But even without that, I mean, even 60 to 70 is still very high dew point values. Precipitation totals in the next 36 hours. Southern Michigan could see 4+ inches of rain. Anywhere there's bands of rainfall here, 2 to 3 inches where there's severe weather moisture, but well outside of that, an inch plus. Again, if it falls in a short amount of time, that's going to be your heightened risk of flash flooding. Surface-based CAPE, all right? The NAM model definitely puts a lot more of that. They have put a lot more CAPE on the map. They put it a lot farther north. So that's why the NAM model does form that line of severe thunderstorms, because that CAPE, that heat that you really need to fuel those thunderstorms, all right, it's going to be drifting farther. It's going to be surging farther north instead of just being confined to the south like the GFS model had it. So definitely some heat and instability in the atmosphere. They also do kind of rack up the wind shear a little bit more. All right, not quite as much. Well, actually, they do put a little bit more than GFS, but it's not much of a difference. But still, Illinois, Indiana, we do have some wind shear values over 50 knots, some of the bulk shear. But again, majority of that's going to come as the upper level low itself, and a huge just a huge upper level low diving down towards the south. That'll come after the severe weather threat, but that jet, when it digs down like that, can actually enhance those upper level winds to potentially heighten that severe weather risk. Supercell composites, because the NAM put a higher CAPE value, they also put a higher supercell composite values. We're talking about 5 to 7 out of 50 as opposed to 2 out of 50, so much different story here. With the NAM model. All right, so we're talking about triple the threat of a supercell thunderstorms that the GFS said, because they said 2 out of 50, NAM says 6 out of 50. So almost a triple threat here with the NAM model. Significant tornado parameter, not going to be as much as a super, because obviously you have a much better chance of getting a supercell than you do a significant tornado. We're talking about like EF2, EF3, that kind of level. It is a 1 out of 10, so there's a 10% chance within this region, Illinois, Indiana, 10% chance of seeing significant tornadoes. And finally, those wind crossovers, along with those CAPE values, again, here is your surface winds coming out of the southeast or so. You got those southwest winds at 5,000 feet, really help to create those spin-ups of potential tornadoes. So, thank you guys for watching. I'm the Weather Dude, signing off until next time. And please do not forget to check these videos on the left side of your screen and pretty much around it all around you. So many videos to check out. Please consider checking them out. I am the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time. Thank you guys for watching.